Or Shalom, first and foremost. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harakah Kodash. A double honors unto the apostles and elders of James Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to Yakim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. And as you see on the screen, I have a couple articles that I want to go into, but they're all linked towards the same event. This one in particular being, famine and, Esau's wiles or schemes, right? Because we understand, and we're going to keep telling you that what you're seeing as far as all these recalls or callbacks of these different produces of different grocery store products. This ultimately helping in the engineering of this famine that he's creating, right? So as you see on the screen, it says one dead, dozens across 31 states hospitalized from antibiotic resistant bacteria linked to chicken and eggs, right? There's just another way to cull people, man, or part of that culling, right? It says results so far: dozens hospitalized, one dead, highest case counts in these four states. It says according to a report from the Daily Mail, a dangerous outbreak of antibiotic resistant salmonella linked to backyard chickens and ducks has rapidly escalated, sickening hundreds and claiming at least one life across the U.S. Right, and this is how he does it. Right, so not only do you have the Hanta or the Neuro, you also now have a antibiotic resistant salmonella. Right, so all these different pestilences are coming and hitting America at one time, man. Right, and they're all making headlines, which is just showing you that E knows that he has but a short time. He's bringing forth all these different strains and sicknesses out to get people, to ultimately be in that state where they're begging, right? And he also wants, as we know, according to the Georgia Guidestones, 500,000 people on the earth, man. So he has a large number to eradicate, so to speak. Health officials with the CDC and prevention first issued a warning last month about Salmonella St. Paul infections connected to poultry contact. What began as 34 cases and 13 hospitalizations in 13 states has now surged to 184 confirmed illnesses, 53 hospitalizations, and one death spanning 31 states. Additional strains, Salmonella and enteritiditis, and Salmonella mumbandica has also been identified in the outbreak. The largest cluster involves Salmonella St. Paul, with 133 cases reported. Right? It says illnesses occurred between January 17th and April 20th. Kentucky has recorded the most cases at 22, followed by Michigan with 21, Wisconsin with 17, and Ohio with 15. Right? The single fatality occurred in Washington State. Patients range from infants under 1 year old to adults aged 86, with about one quarter younger than 5 of those interviewed. 78% reported contact with backyard poultry, including a notably high number of duck exposures. Right? We understand that the people in these rural areas that have their private farms and sell their eggs, he has no problem, poisoning their livestock or those what you call it, those birds, so that the owners and everybody that the owners sell to get sick, man. Right? He doesn't want anybody to be able to navigate or eat without him, man. Right? So that's why when we go in Revelation 13 and 16, and it speaks about, it's like at 13 and 17, and it speaks about that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark or the number of the name, right? Let him that have wisdom, count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, 603 right? When you go into that buy or sell, it's what transactions from that what electronic currency, which is going to be on the CHI to the P, right? So finding ways, or for people finding ways outside of his range or his matrix, he has no problem sacrificing or sabotaging what you have 16, right? And it reads, "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless it's like, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall." Right? When you read that in NLT, it says, "For evil people can't sleep until they've done their evil deed for the day." And understand that a meditates, right? As the scriptures talk about how we gonna meditate terror upon the heathen, it will meditates terror upon all the inhabitants of the earth, man. Right? He thinks he has, a certain branch for the food, to meditate terror on how to poison people through that. He has a certain branch for how to bring forth hell through waters, right? Or bring forth hell through all these other ways that could be profitable into the earth. And he makes sure that it kills you. For example, this devil has the money, and the resources to do what? To create a land Sabbath and still have food produced at its full strength, right? But instead, he'll do what? He'll go into a lab and produce a chicken, right? Without the natural birth of a chicken, through the egg of the mother, the sperm of the male chicken to the egg of the mother, to where that mother is, sitting upon those eggs and hatching them. No, he'll create a bio, what you call it, a bio shell, right? And that shell will then be the house for that chicken, man. Instead of allowing nature to run its course. It says, "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause them to fall." Right? You have people in these rural areas, helping people eat, with cheaper priced eggs and cheaper priced poultry, right? But eagle go into these same areas and poison their animals to where now the meat is getting people sick, or the eggs from their offspring are getting people sick. Right? When you read 17, it says, "For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence." This is the only land. And that's why when we go into the book of Habakkuk 2, it tells us, as a matter of fact, I'll grab it, is Habakkuk 2, right? Habakkuk 2 and 4, it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell." Right? That's that whole what you call it? Manifest destiny spirit. Right? He wants everything. That covetousness that this devil has, it can never be satisfied. Right? His appetite can never be, quenched, because it'll never be enough. Right? It says in his hell, it's like in his death, it cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So when we go back here, and look at it, it says backyard poultry like chickens and ducks can carry salmonella. And understand that the animals that these people are raising on their farms or in their homesteads, they're way healthier animals than what he has in these factories. Here it is, he pumps these chickens up in these factories with all different types of, of just wickedness, man. Right? To the point where chickens won't be able to walk, or they'll be too fat, right? Or where they'll have 6 wings on one chicken, right? 3 legs, 4 breasts, right? 8 thighs, because he's pumping them with all these different chemicals, right? And running all these different tests on them to see how much yield he can get out of one bird. And not the average just 2 thighs, 2 wings, 2 drums. No, this nigga wants all different. He wants them looking like what's that one? Frankenstein, man. Right? This is just how this devil gets down. For he drinks the bread of wickedness and the wine of violence. So when we go back here, it says symptoms typically include, okay, that's the point. I'm gonna grab this. Right? Because that was just chicken. But let's see how this famine it will continue. Tomato and beef prices reach new records. So we understand chicken and eggs are now messed up, right? So now you're seeing that tomatoes and beef are messed up, right? There's no article saying how pork is messed up though, right? There's nowhere. Where's the article saying that pork is causing these things? No, because he's fine with you eating that shit. He has no problem advertising to you, bacon on every burger commercial. But when it comes to, quote unquote, cleaner cuts of meat or lawful meat, hey, he's going to mess it up. Watch. I wouldn't be surprised if we seen a article on lamb, lamb or goat next, man. The way that this devil is going. So it says tomato and beef prices reach new records. As according to a report from the Chicago Tribune, the latest consumer price data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics reveals sharp increases in everyday costs, with national gas prices climbing above $4 per gallon for the first time since 2022, and key grocery items like tomatoes and ground beef reaching an all-time high. April inflation report shows overall prices rising to 0.6% for the month, pushing the year-over-year increase to 3.8%, nearly double the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Energy costs fueled much of the surge, accounting for more than 40% of the monthly jump, as disruptions from the ongoing war rippled through the global oil markets. The conflict has seen Iran close to the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for a fifth of the world's oil and gas shipments, prompting U.S. and allied blockades that have halted so much of the region's fuels exports. Crude oil has stayed above $100 a barrel, driving U.S. retail gas prices up to more than 50%. That's double since the war began, and diesel cost up to 48% up. It says nationally, regularly unleaded gasoline averaged 4.26 or $4.26 per gallon on April, up 42 cents from the prior month. In Chicago, prices hit $4.45 locally and have since climbed above $5 in some spots, levels not seen in nearly 4 years. Right? So how does this affect the people? Hey, well, the scriptures say this in the book of Ezekiel. And I'll start here and get to the point. So like, right? There's Ezekiel 4:9. It says, take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fishes and put them in one vessel. And make thee bread thereof, right? And I'm grabbing this precept because it signifies at the time in which Jake went through what? A famine, right? Where they had to ration out what they were able to eat, right? Because as food prices continue to skyrocket, man, all that's going to happen is people are going to be able to get less and less of what's convenient, and they're gonna have to focus more of their budget on foods that will actually sustain them, rices and grains and legumes and things of that sort, right? You think you just gonna have crab boils or seafood boils in that day, you out your mind, right? He charges a arm and a leg for abominations, so those things are going to be unavailable for you, but they're going to be looking for these things, right? Because food brings forth comfort. So when people aren't allowed to eat, when they want, how much they want, guess what? They're gonna bug out. They're gonna bug out, man. You talk to a nigga about rationing or fasting, he'll look at you like you got three heads, right? Or what am I fast for? I eat 4 meals every day. How am I supposed to stop eating for 24 hours? Food and water? These are the questions that Jake will ask us, man. Right? It says, take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fishes, and put them on one vessel. And make the bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days shalt thou eat thereof. And thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, right? And that's what you see, the surge or the inflation of beef, right? And tomatoes, it says from time to time shall thou eat it, man. All right, let's go back. It says Ezekiel 4:10, it says, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day, from time to time shalt thou eat it. So when we go to Ezekiel 4:10, it says, ration this out for yourself or to yourself, 8 ounces of food for each day, and eat it at set times. It says, thou shalt drink also water by measure, the sixth part of an hin, from time to time shalt thou drink it. Right? So this is the climate that we're coming into, where people are going to be rationing all that they have in order to survive. And we told you, right? We told you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to get your spirit together. We told you to repent. And since you're not going to listen, Yahweh Shemai Shah is going to starve you out, man. It's that simple. Scripture says it's better to perish or die with a sword than as than it is a famine, right? And when the Lord brings forth this type of judgment unto you people, when Yahweh Shemashah brings this type of judgment unto you people, it is going to be well worth it because you've deserved it. Your actions show why you need this type of judgment. Because every time the words of Yahweh Shemashah come out, Jake does what? They fan their hand, they talk shit, they scoff. Right here it is. You got a whole article talking about hospitalized antibiotic resistant bacteria linked to chickens and eggs. Right. And the next video is about what? An inflation for beef in what you call it, tomatoes, man. So you see how this is affecting the markets. Right. He has all this money to invest, in a plan to where people will be able to eat, and continuing their daily life. But no, this nigga wants to bring back what you call extinct species, right? And this is the article that I was talking about here. It says chicks hatch from artificial eggs in scientific first. It could be a game changer for bringing extinct animals back to life. So in the midst of his nation starving, in the midst of Trump saying, I don't give a damn about you American people's finances, these niggas are doing what? Trying to clone and bring back animals that are quote unquote extinct. They care more about this topic than they do about feeding their people nutritious and healthy food, man. They care about these chickens that were artificially, birthed from eggs, than the actual people who need the food to survive. This same budget can go towards feeding people, but no, no. We read that Proverbs 4, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall, for they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Well, this is exactly this. This is the wine of violence, right? Because now you're saying nature doesn't even need, its original course anymore. But you can bypass that, and be like the Most High. Because that's what this is all about. It's about Esau exalting himself and ultimately the people of the earth exalting him, right? Especially those that receive with that MOTB, which is the CHI to the P, man, right? So let's read it. It says the company already pursuing the return of species like woolly mammoths and dire wolves successfully brought 26 healthy chickens into the world. Now the question is, what did they put inside the bodies of these embryos, man? Right? Because they can say 26 healthy chickens. How many chickens had to die, before they got to a number of 26, being a successful, what you call it, trial. Since these chicks will live out their natural lives at the firm's avian facility, the artificial egg enables complete embryo development outside a natural shell, giving scientists unprecedented control over every stage from early incubation until hatching, which that's what he wants to do in man's life, right? He wants unprecedented control over every stage of your life. How do we know? Well, when we go into the scriptures for it, right? This is 2 Thessalonians 2. And I'll start here at looks like it's 1 Thessalonians 1. It's 2 Thessalonians 2. Here we go. The 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who is Esau Edom, so-called white man and a white woman. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worship, so that he as a power sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is a God. And when you take a look at what we were reading, right, it says the artificial egg, right here, enables complete embryo development outside of a natural shell, giving scientists unprecedented control over every stage from early incubation to hatching. And we know that this devil does nothing out of, the goodness of his heart. Hey, because he was born and created to be the wicked. But in this, right, unprecedented control, he just doesn't want that over beast. No, he wants it over man, right? See, he's able to freely, run tests on these different chickens and take samples of whatever it may be that he needs from them. But what he really wants is people, man. Jake, right? Hence the MOTB coming into play. You pledging your allegiance unto a system so that he can use you at his discretion, just like he's doing these chickens. Out of everything, with a family that owns everything, all resources, all markets, you would think that these niggas would just be sitting down chilling. No, they're figuring out ways on how to just be even more demonic, right? And this is ultimately Esau's path, man. To be the wicked upon the earth, because all these articles, right, in the midst of people starving, in the midst of prices going up in every market, he's worried about artificial eggs because he understands he wants to scale this up ultimately to bring it onto the human body, right? So I'm gonna grab another precept. Is Revelation 6? No, it's like the Revelation. So like it. Is Revelation 12? Oops. Right, it's Revelation 12, and I'll start here at 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devils come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right? So he's linking. There's going to be a link, like when you watch those detective movies or shows, they'll have like a bulletin board up, with all the names and the information on it, connected by string. And all the strings on this board are leading into a Esau just destroying the earth, man. Right? Whether it's the famine, whether it's pestilence, whether it's inflation, whether it's the hell he's putting on people and their children, all these different factors contribute until the end. So tomato and beef prices reaching their new records, hey, it's gonna be all of everything in the grocery store is gonna go up in price, right? To the point where people are gonna stop buying it and they're just gonna start stealing. This is what we're about to witness, right? As far as eating, though, that should be the least of your matters. Should be the least of your matters. Yahweh Shema Shah said this in the book of Isaiah, the 65th chapter. Right, this is Isaiah 65. And I'll start here at verse 13. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Hey, so, Lord willing, we be of that number. Hey, food shouldn't even be one of your thoughts, man. Yahweh Shema Shah has allowed us to, get into the habit and practice of fasting, which is a defense. That also boosts, it's like, which also boosts up our spirit, man. Right? Our spiritual endurance. That was the point. With all this money, all this power, this devil rather, incubate eggs because he's trying to find a method to do the same with people. Right? This is what their taxpayer dollars are going towards, by the way. Oh, while he's poisoning you. So on all ends, this devil is creating all different manners of chaos, to usher in his new system, which is the MOTB, which will be mandated. And we're going to say it every lesson, man. The MOTB is going to come out in every lesson because, we're that close. And Yahweh Shema Shai told us to warn you. So you have no excuse. The blood is off of our hands. And so, Lord willing, with this lesson, it was edifying unto the body. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Harakah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of James Great Millstone. And a sincere shalom to Yakim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.